One of our most important declutters is in the refrigerator and the pantry. And I think specifically the refrigerator. I mean, the pantry is important because you don't want to lose things. You have money in there that is food. And if you're not using it, you're buying food you don't have to buy when you already have stuff. But in the refrigerator, it is even more important because things are going to go to waste if you don't cook them. Now, I had this chicken here. And by the way, I'm getting a grocery order on this day. So that was kind of fueling my energy here of giving me a little bit of, that feeling of it's the night before a test and you haven't studied or your term paper's not done and it's due. One of those feelings. But I had this chicken in there and my husband had bought it and it had been in there a couple days. Usually I only want raw meat in the refrigerator for 3 days. And I forgot that he had seen this video of how to cut up a chicken and to use its different parts and pieces. And that was what he wanted to do with it. So here I am putting it in the crock pot. But it was okay in the end. They're not expensive. And this gave us a meal and a leftover. So I actually cooked it on this day, but we didn't eat it till the next day. I just saved the chicken and I saved the drippings. And then I did a chicken and gravy over mashed potatoes for the family, and they really loved it. And then my daughter Rachel was also able to have a separate meal. She did a chicken pasta recipe for herself. So we got good use out of it, but he did have to go buy another chicken. And now I'm like, I got to remind him to use it because it's been a few days. It's like use it or I got to cook it, one of those things. Or I guess I could freeze it. That's the other option. So I always like to just get in here and rearrange things. I am wearing gloves because I don't like to touch raw meat. It didn't used to bother me, but it bothers me now. But just rest assured, when you see me handling raw meat and then touching other things, I actually wash my hands with the gloves on. I just don't have it on here. And I also disinfect the countertop, the sink, all of the things where the raw chicken went, just to kind of let you know I am careful about that. So I don't put things away in the same manner that my family does. They just kind of open the refrigerator, put things away. And so I like to rearrange things so that they can see the things that need to be used up. I know what they're going to eat, or it's things that an individual has asked for, and I want to put it in a place where they can see it. So I have some chicken thighs here. Also, opening the window. You know what? I find it so grounding to have oxygen, to have air coming in the window. And it's kind of hard on my family because I make them cold. But it just feels so good. I can't resist. So I can't wait until spring really takes a hard hit and comes in strong so that I can open my window and not freeze out the family. But we've been getting rain, sleet, snow, freezing rain, all of the things lately. Anyway, I have these chicken thighs and I'm getting them individually wrapped and put in a Gladlock bag. That's my favorite way to store my meats. The packaging that meat comes in isn't necessarily created for the freezer. So it's good to get it out of that packaging however you choose to do it, whether you're bagging it up or you're using what is that? A vacuum machine, the thing that vacuums all the air out, or just bagging it up or putting it in containers, whatever it is you do. I find that if I get meat, I like to get it packaged up right away, put in the freezer. But I didn't do that this week, and then I'm getting this second order, which I'll talk more about later. And so I really thought I better do it before more comes in. I wasn't getting more chicken thighs, but I just wanted to create space in the refrigerator. I don't want an overpacked refrigerator. And if we choose to have something other than the chicken thighs, then I don't want to risk them going bad. So for me, it's just better if I get it packaged up right away. And I don't even worry about whether or not it's going to be our meal tomorrow. And then this is ground turkey that my daughter Rachel and I are the only ones who eat, but I know she's going to be having a soup soon that she likes to make with turkey burgers. So I'm saving half of the packaging for that soup, and then I'm dividing the other package in 2 different pieces so that her and I can use those as single serve. I tend to put them in a recipe. Well, actually, I guess we both do. Yeah, we both tend to put them in recipes. We don't just make a turkey burger. So half of that will stay in the refrigerator and the other half will go in the freezer. And I'm reminding myself that I need to go check in on that half pound in the refrigerator. I might need to move it to the freezer because I don't think I've seen that soup happening. So I'll probably ask her today if she's planning on using that meat today. And if not, I'll go ahead and put it in the freezer. Now, I have a second package of turkey burgers sitting right there, and my husband bought this brand by mistake. It's the Nature's Promise, and they use rosemary extract as a preservative, I think, but there's rosemary extract in it, which does trigger migraines for my daughter Rachel. So I'm going to cook this up, and it's going to be a low carb meal for me. And then I'll use it up, and she won't have to worry about me packaging that up and her getting it by mistake. It's funny though, it's a completely different color. The other kind, the Shady Brook that we buy, is very pink, and this one has almost like a tan hue to it. And I noticed it is a stronger flavor of turkey. Honestly, I didn't like it as much because I was kind of relating the stronger flavor to when meat is ready to kind of turn. I don't know. I think I just get used to one flavor, and then I just, I can't handle it tasting any different. So I'm getting a small garbage bag ready, and I've switched out my cutting board. I cleaned the glass cutting board. That's the one I like to use for meat. And then I have this bamboo cutting board that I can use for vegetables. I either changed out or washed my knife. Can't really remember. But I'm getting some green bell pepper cut up that I'm going to use in the turkey burger. And then I also had a red onion, or do you call it a purple onion, in its little onion container. So I'm going to get that chopped up. I'll throw that in the meat as well. And then I also would love to get the rest of the bell pepper chopped up and put in the refrigerator. I had one of you ask when I put the cut up produce in either a produce keeper, and then I have plastic containers that I thought were glass when I purchased them, and then I ended up keeping them, and then I have glass. What I have found when I chop up, because the question was, does it get slimy? What I found actually when I chop it up, if anything, it gets dry. So because when I chop it up, well, I'll use it for salads, but I'll also use it for recipes. I honestly would prefer the dry over the sticky, over the slimy, because once it's slimy, you actually need to throw it away. I recently had some English cucumbers, the long ones, and they were starting to get a little slimy-ish, like you could feel it just a little bit on the skin. And so we washed them. Actually, I'm saying we because Rachel actually was the one that did it. Wash them, slice them up, and put it in a produce keeper. And would you believe, a couple days later, there was no sliminess at all. They tasted fine. We ate them. They were fine. I also had zucchini that was starting to wrinkle a little bit. Chopped that up, put it in a glass container, and we have been using it, and it has not continued to wrinkle. It seems fine. Like, it wasn't so wrinkled you couldn't use it. You know what I mean? It was just starting to wrinkle. So I have really found that if anything, it makes things last longer. So in my pan behind me, I put in the chopped bell pepper, the chopped onion, and then I'll be adding the ground beef to that. And then I like the Rouse marinara sauce on top of it. That stuff tastes so good. And I don't mind getting it if I get it at Costco. This is me cutting up that zucchini. I don't mind doing it if I get it at Costco, but I cannot buy it at my grocery store. It is way too expensive. But at some point, I need to try the store brand again. Or maybe I'll try Kirkland. Let me know in the comments. Do you like the Kirkland brand of marinara sauce? I definitely need to find something that is less expensive. I have switched over from the Nature's Promise chicken broth over to my store brand chicken broth. No one has complained, and it is less expensive. So I'm just trying to find ways to save money on our grocery bill. I really feel like every dollar counts, And you may not feel it on an individual grocery order, but I feel like over time, over the year, you are spending less every little cut you can make. So I'm definitely, shopping the sales more, paying more attention to digital couponing, and also switching my brands to less expensive brands and kind of trying them out. I would love to know what you're doing to save money in the grocery store, but definitely keeping track of what is in the refrigerator, making sure it's either used up or frozen is also helping me to save money on the grocery bill because I'm not throwing as much food away. Also, erring on the side of making less because my family isn't really great about eating leftovers. So I'll risk making a little bit less and just tell people, hey, if you're still hungry, here's what we have. My mother was really great at this. She would throw applesauce on the table or pickles, bread. She just would kind of add, bulk in some sides, maybe cut up cucumber, that type of thing, so that people just felt like they had plenty of food. But the expensive stuff that, we all are trying to cut back on, that stuff she would skimp on just a little bit, and she would have running applesauce and pickles in the refrigerator that she could put down. Or, oh, I just cut myself. Another one I use is cherry tomatoes. I realize I should probably go get a Band-Aid so I don't bleed on the food. So that's what I ended up doing. I cut myself quite frequently. I keep my knives sharp, and I had set my finger down, or maybe I just cut wrong. I don't know. It's pretty common. Me cutting and burning myself. I would be terrible on a show like Chopped because I would be the one holding her finger up in the air while the medics come over. And then I lose minutes and I end up losing. That would be me completely. My family loves to watch the show Chopped, and we love Chopped Junior. And then there's another one, Cutthroat Kitchen. That's the one that we watch. But I love the idea. Cutthroat Kitchen is just, they get to throw each other curveballs. Other contestants get to, take away an oven for someone else, or they're frying chicken, but one can't have any oil. They get to do things like that. But one of the things I love about those shows is it really does inspire me in the kitchen, because that's kind of how I've been meal planning lately. It's like I'm playing Chopped. There's foods I want to get done and foods I need to use up. And so it's like, okay, what are we creating today? And I've been doing a lot of Googling of ingredients, of just saying, okay, these are the ingredients I have. What can I do with them? These are mini cucumbers I had washed. I had run them underneath the sink. And so I just was drying them off so they didn't go in the container wet. It would have been nice to chop all of them up, but I was realizing that I was wearing down. So I had Brussels sprouts, and I thought putting them in the keeper is better than keeping them in the plastic bag. So even though I didn't pre-cut them for a meal, I still felt like I had done something because I got them in the produce keeper. The same with the mini cucumbers. So they're going to last longer in the keepers than they are in the plastic bags. And those mini cucumbers are all washed up. We just like to slice them and eat them. So I slice one up when I'm tempted to eat something high calorie that I shouldn't because I'm getting hungry. Doing something like slicing up a mini cucumber really does help me to just kind of be munching while I'm cooking and not munching on things that I shouldn't while I'm cooking. Blue. So I got the turkey burger in there, and I'm just getting it chopped up. I'm finishing the cooking, and I put in the sauce. I need some more sauce. That was going to end up being my lunch for this day, and then it was a supper meal for 2 more days. So it worked out really great to have this ready for me and in the refrigerator. And it also helps if I'm making something for my family that I'm not necessarily going to eat. If mine is just a heat it up in the microwave kind of thing, it really, really helps me. And once in a while, they will cook something that either I don't want to eat or I'm trying to behave myself calorie-wise, and they're having something that's a lot more high carb. And that way I could just, throw it down, put it in the microwave. That was crushed red pepper that I put in there. I like to add a little bit of heat. I have been loving crushed red pepper. It wasn't something that I ever loved in the past. I don't know what it is, but it almost feels like comfort food to me. I think it's because I use it in soup broth, and I find soup broth so comforting. I'm chopping up this cauliflower. I had used some cauliflower in some low carb recipes recently. I had bought an entire head and I didn't need an entire head. I love to munch on raw cauliflower as well. Look at me. There I am. Yep. I love the stems. It's very much like broccoli stems are so good. Cauliflower stems are also really good. I do enjoy cauliflower crust pizza, and I will say if you think it's too sweet, which I used to, make sure you're adding salt, put some Parmesan cheese in the crust, as well as, this is the secret, Italian seasoning. Italian seasoning makes all the difference. I can't even explain why, but if I do the cheese and the salt, that helps a little, but the Italian seasoning, if I don't put that in, I really notice a difference and it feels too sweet for me. Something I've mentioned in other videos too, when you're switching over to say cauliflower crust instead of a traditional crust, don't think of it as the same dish. If you think of it as the same dish and you're substituting, you feel like, okay, this is sped up. I'm really not eating this fast. You feel like you're really missing out. But if you think of it as a completely different recipe, a completely different food, maybe it's a flat breaded casserole or something, call it something different. I'm telling you, mentally, you're going to like it a lot better.
Okay. Woo! So, you tell me, do you struggle with this too? Because I know I have a grocery order coming in and I want to make sure I'm not wasting any food, that I'm preserving. And last week when I got my grocery order in, I didn't do a good job of packaging food, of putting it in containers where it would last longer. I honestly can't even remember what prompted me to put in a grocery order this morning. Like, honestly, I woke up and I was looking at the sale flyer, I was clipping digital coupons. Before I knew it, I was making an order. Honestly, I have no idea. Either way, so I'm tired from yesterday. I did a lot yesterday. And so I was like, okay, you're just going to take it slow. It's okay. And so one thing led to another. I had that turkey burger and I thought, oh, I really want to cook that up because it has rosemary in it. It's nature's promise. And my daughter, Rachel, can't have rosemary. It triggers migraines. I genuinely don't like rosemary, but I don't think I'll taste it. So I thought I'll make something, divide it up, freeze it. It'll be my low carb meals, be perfect. So that kind of happened midstream. Anyways, I wore myself out. So I was like, I got to cut my losses and it's going to have to be okay. Even if I don't go back to it before my grocery order comes this afternoon. Thank goodness I at least did 1 to 2 because I didn't want to do one that was so close to when I was ordering and then not end up having it get delivered and it's raining. And I thought, what if there's no Instacart drivers who want to take my order in the rain? I think of those things because I've had a couple times where it's backfired and I haven't gotten my delivery. And if you get knocked out of the loop of your first order, first serve kind of thing, you could wait a very long time before you get your order. And I'm not going to have a cart today. So you let me know. Once you get started, you're just like, I have to finish. You get that voice in your head and I have to learn that it's okay to stop. Not just to take a break, but maybe not to go back to it because you have other things you need to move on to, and this is taking longer than you planned on. So I have stopped, and I'm going to move on to some more sit-down activities. And I just want to start really letting you in where my brain is because I think that's where we honestly start to connect and go, oh, yeah, I feel that too. So I can tell you to take a break. But I want to tell you my mindset behind when I take a break or my mindset behind when I should have taken a break, when I didn't take a break, and then what it caused. So yesterday I took a walk. I can't even remember. I got to remember what I did yesterday, but I know I took a walk and I had taken Yvonne to an appointment, but you probably already saw that video. You did 2 days ago. We went to Home Depot or Lowe's. It was just like a whole day. And I felt very energetic, and now I'm just feeling kind of like a little deflated. So, you just got to be gracious because if you don't give yourself grace, like if I don't give myself grace right now, tomorrow I'm going to be completely, or I'm going to get mad. I'm going to get angry at people because they're not helping and I haven't even asked for help. So yeah, on to some sit down activities. And if the grocery order comes before I finish cleaning out the fridge, then that is just what happens. We're okay. We're okay. I'm okay. You're okay.
I called it. I did not go back to the refrigerator. I did not go back to packaging things up or cutting things and pre-prepping things this day. I just was too tired. So this was what I got done for this day. And you can see Yvonne helping me. I love that, she's really struggled through this pregnancy, but whatever energy she has, she always uses it to help out. And I really appreciate that. So I'm getting things unbagged so that I can give you a little grocery haul. And I just want to make sure I've just driven this point home. Just do your best. Stop beating yourself up. Don't we just beat ourselves up on what we can't get done, whether it's a time constraint, energy constraint, health constraint. Some of you are recovering from surgeries. I mean, there's just things that come up in life. Do your best and take shortcuts. Throwing those Brussels sprouts in my produce keeper was a shortcut to what I would normally do, but it's fine. When I am ready to do it again, I'll either prep them ahead of time or I'll prep them when we have them, which is what I usually do. Do I love having the Brussels sprouts all sliced and ready to go for a quick dinner? Absolutely, but it is just not always possible. Kind of like getting this cat off my table while I get the food out. Leo is never, oh, what happened? We're going blurry. Here we are. Leo is never normally on the table. Not this table. He is only on the kitchen island, except if I bring groceries in. And his real motivation is, well, one, he has to be a part of everything. And two, he loves the handles on these grocery bags. He loves to chew them. He's never gotten over that kitchen stage where he chews on the, anything. So he also loves to chew electrical wires, and we have to be very careful of him with that. So I'm going to show you my grocery haul. That's going to be our video for today, and I hope you'll stick around for it. And there's so much more coming. I have so much to edit for you. I've been out in the yard, and my husband and I have been working on the bathroom. So press the subscribe button if you haven't so that YouTube will let you know.
Okay, for my grocery order, I got 2 large packs of toilet paper. I felt a need to stock up, and a big old thing of paper towels, and then more Brussels sprouts because I forgot I had Brussels sprouts. This is what happens when I make an order at 6 o'clock in the morning. And some light sour cream, 2 dozen eggs. These are actually the least expensive eggs in our grocery store right now, for whatever reason. 2 boxes of strawberries, 2 packages of Leo's treats, 1 package of dairy-free chocolate chips, a box of decaf. I'm going more toward the decaf for myself and anxiety. And then 2 boxes of the caramel for my husband. I have 2 packages of filleted steaks. I guess it goes this way. 1 package of the very lean ground beef, a family pack of chicken breasts, 2 bunches of green onions. Actually, it was supposed to be 2, but they gave me 1 for whatever reason. A bag of potatoes. I needed a scrub mommy. And then a package of hot sausage to make a zuppa toscana soup. Decaf cold brew for my mocha shakes that I like to have. Bananas, chicken broth, 2 of those. I'm going to do a soup. And then these, my 2 younger girls have liked for snacks or a quick lunch. It would have been $189, but I had my $30 worth of rewards, so it was $159.
Cleaning, decluttering, home projects, outdoor work coming up soon. So remember, as always, God loves you. I love you too.